Hello, dear viewer, and welcome to another exciting episode of the Catholic League Forum. I'm Mike McDonald, Director of Communications at the Catholic League, and joining me today is Bill Donohue, President and CEO of the Catholic League. And we're going to be recapping some of the very important issues that we did at another very busy week of the Catholic League. So first up, I just want to touch bases with you guys on a story we brought to you last week about an educator in Pennsylvania who went a little off the rails and had some spicy comments on Facebook. Bill, can you tell us what...
Yeah, we were actually blown away. And what the real story here is, well, there's two stories here. Number one, we won. And number two is that the media basically did a blackout on it.
Right.
For the viewers, I want to let you know what happened here. We learned through a couple of conservative sites that there was a teacher in Erie, Pennsylvania, northwest corner, who's a member of the National Board of Directors of the National Education Association. She's a big name person. She's not just a teacher. And she came out and said that these people who are asking for a religious exemption from the vaccination, they should be taken out and shot. Now, that you can be prosecuted in this country for something like that, right. Which is why I did contact the DA in Erie County. But the thing that I wanted more than else is, somebody who spent 20 years in education, we wanted her removed from the board of directors of the National Education Association. She posted her vile comment on December 7th. On December the 8th, we came out with our statement, and days later, we learned that, in fact, she was removed from the National Education Association's board of directors. And indeed, you actually called for the Catholic League, the school, to verify that she was indeed removed from the school, and she has been removed. So what I'm proud about is, number one, the quickness of the response. I also take great pride that we are the only civil rights organization in the United States that took this position against her. I don't know where some of our allies have been on this stuff, but you know what? If they're not going to do the job, all the more for the Catholic League. So we're very proud of that and the fact that in the end of the day, this person is not going to be in education.
Right. Yeah, and unfortunately, this didn't get a lot of attention in the media. And just one other group that I really think deserves to be highlighted, Bill, here is our great members.
Oh.
We asked them to intervene, and as always, they just pounded away.
If you're listening to this and you're not sure what Mike is talking about, go to our website. You take a look at, not in every particular case, but in many cases, we will get the email address of the offender, and you can then chime in. We don't do this by ourselves unless you guys follow through. And it doesn't have to be a long missive, just a statement of how disgusted or outraged you are about whatever the nature of the offense is. That's how we win in the culture war. It's not just because of our staff.
Right. And if you are interested in becoming a member and signing up for our email so that you can, too, join us in these fights, because we really need all the help we can get, be sure to check out our website, catholicleague.org. We'll have a link in the description below. But again, Bill, another busy week, all over the place. Can you tell me a little bit about your news release today on the NFL and Nike?
Yeah, I imagine many of the people watching know something about this. In other words, Nike, the great athletic gear company, they're in bed with the NFL, and both of them have invested heavily in working with the Chinese communists. Now, there was a bill that came out from the House this week, basically saying you really can't do any business with the slave labor conditions of the Uyghurs. The Uyghurs are a Muslim ethnic minority in China who have been persecuted. Yeah. They have slave labor. There's been genocide against these people, and very few people are saying anything. Well, one of the reasons they're able to get away with this is because the NFL has an incestuous relationship with the communist Chinese, and so does Nike. And indeed, the NFL and Nike have an incestuous relationship. Nike is the one that gives all the jerseys and all the gear for free to the NFL. Neither one of them want to stop with the slave labor. They're invested too heavily over there. They may make a few platitudinal statements, but we know where the money is and what they're doing. So when this bill passed the House earlier this week, unanimously, it went to the Senate. But there's a senator from Oregon, a Democrat, Ron Wyden, who is basically owned by Nike. Nike's given him over $60,000 and greasing him, and guess what? He was able to stop the bill from going forward. The good news is that the next day, even the Senate Democrats realized, time out, this has gone too far, and the bill was passed. But, you know, it should never have gotten to that stage in the first place.
No. And like you said, the NFL, Nike, all these guys promote these great social justice causes in the United States, but meanwhile, they're doing business with an authoritarian government, a communist government, that is actively committing genocide. And that's not hyperbole. That is from the United States State Department, that it is a genocide in China right now. And not just the Uyghurs suffer. It's across the board.
The Catholics
everyone.
are suffering.
Right.
All Christians are suffering. And I'm glad you mentioned about the duplicity because, it's one thing for people to invest in China, okay? We're not, the moral police running around trying to find out what people are investing in where. All I'm simply saying is this. And I take particular umbrage at this as a veteran. The NFL is on a tear about what a racist country we are. They bought into the Black Lives Matter and critical race theory propaganda. I take great umbrage at that. And yet at the same time, if we're so racist and you're so concerned about human rights, why are you actively engaged in supporting a regime which commits genocide and slave labor against a religious minority? I don't need to be lectured by these phonies like Roger Goodell or the people at Nike who are just as bad as the NFL.
Right. It's a very bad situation. And again, viewer, if you do want to get involved in this, be sure to check out our website, check out Bill's release on this. We'll have a link in the description below. And in this release, we actually do have contacts for the NFL and Nike. So if you want to help us out and send a very strong message to these organizations that are doing, frankly, some bad stuff right now, we'd really appreciate your help. Also, just to wrap things up on a more seasonal note,
Right.
SNL this last week on December 11th had a very interesting scene about the Holy Family and turning it into a hip-hop Christmas play. Bill, can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, listen, SNL has done some great work over the years. They take some shots here and there. They've also done some foul things, but they're very selective, all right? They typically will go after Catholics more than they will any other group, and I have a whole file to prove that. They chose the Holy Season now to go after the Holy Family. And what they did was despicable. This is not comedic, people. We have a sense of humor at the Catholic League. But when you depict Jesus as an adult walking around in diapers, asking him to twerk, when you have Joseph there as someone who they're making Big Daddy Joseph and making fun of him and the like, that's really getting very close to crossing the line. What really crossed the line altogether was the depiction of our mother, of our Blessed Mother, the Virgin Mary. She's depicted as a pole dancing stripper, and she's told to, quote, go grind against the wall. Now, they do this against Catholics because they're not religion friendly to begin with, but they have a particular animus with us, and they choose the season here. They don't do this with Jews. They don't do this with Muslims. They choose Catholics and they choose our holy season to do this. They hit below the belt. We have a good sense of humor here. Excuse me, but this has gone too far. And so that's why we've asked our people to contact the offenders there as well.
Yeah, and you wrote a very strong letter on that, and I would, again, recommend you, dear viewer, please take a look at that letter. Very strong, and also great ways for you to get involved. As always, thank you for joining us. But if you haven't yet, please make sure you click the like button and subscribe, because that always helps us get our message out. And thank you for your support of the Catholic League, and thanks for watching.